Presidential primary debate. Today, incumbent President Sumo and Speaker Bezer will face off to help Centrist party members decide who should be their nominee for President of Andorn. I am Unity Master, and I have been selected by both campaigns to serve as today's moderator. My questions were not shared with either candidate prior to the debate, and a coin toss has been determined that Speaker Bezer will start us off in just a moment. But first,
I don't remember a coin toss.
I also don't remember a coin toss.
This is ghetto.
I just did the coin toss while I was muted a second ago.
Oh, did you? Who observed this coin toss?
Sumo can go first if he so pleases.
Do you want to go first, Sumo?
No, I'm just being obnoxious. I don't care.
All right. So let me
see people. He's difficult.
But first, I want to inform the candidates of the rules of today's debate. Candidates will alternate answering each question first. There will be 3 main topics on which we'll spend a total of 10 minutes on. There will be 2 questions per topic. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question, and the other candidate may have a 30-second rebuttal. All right, first we turn to the economy. While not the worst possible place to find itself, Andor's economy would appear to be lethargic since its inception. Mr. Speaker, are there any government programs you would implement to help kickstart the economy?
I would implement a grant system with 3 different tiers for people. I can read them off if you'd like.
You have the floor.
Okay. So tier 1 would be 7,500. It would serve as like a grant for already successful businesses or businesses looking for businesses that are like looking for support. The second tier would be 15,000, and it would serve as a grant for businesses that already have a plot or building resources and needs the other half for the fulfillment of the setup stage. And then the last tier would be 30,000, and this tier would serve as a grant for businesses needing a total setup and would also require full trust by the government in this business, as it is a substantial amount of money. All leftover money by grants would be given back to the government.
You forfeit the rest of your time?
Yeah.
All right. You have a rebuttal, Sumo?
I do, absolutely. That system would be great and all if the government could afford it. Currently, our government balance is sitting at $500,000, and that's going to be going towards the building of our capital. Our capital building hasn't been paid for, and a lot of our key buildings haven't been paid for. I've instructed the DOT already to start looking into a grant system. I instructed them earlier today to start doing that. My plan for that is a flat grant of $5,000 as a startup grant. With after proven success, they can apply for additional funds, and that will be awarded on a case-by-case basis. The reason for this is one, we are just starting out. No one has money. The government doesn't even have money. And that's why my administration is also looking into a tax system that is fair to the people while also generating funds for the government.
That's your time, Mr. President. All right. Thank you both. With our attention still focused on the economy, I want to ask a more general question. Mr. President, how do you think we can best encourage engagement in the economy?
Absolutely. We want to incentivize the people, right? We want to make it easy for people to start businesses. We don't want to make a whole bunch of red tape. We want to make the creation of businesses accessible to the people. So by doing that, we want to give away, cut prices of plots, make them more affordable. And also, like I said, doing our grant system, really just incentivizing people to get out there, buy plots, build their shops, and put merchandise in the market so people will spend their money if they have stuff to spend their money on. And that's how we're going to incentivize people to do it. And I'll forfeit the rest of my time.
All right. Mr. Speaker, your rebuttal.
I believe that we could get people more involved with the economy if we give them grants to help their businesses. And I think if you start a huge tax already, it's gonna make people kind of angry, and they're not gonna want to be involved as much. So I think you need to start a little bit slighter than heavy taxes.
I'd like to respond to that.
All right,
Okay.
you may respond.
Absolutely. We don't plan on taxing people heavy. We plan on a subtle chest shop tax. So whenever you spend money on something, you get taxed for that. We're not going to be taxing your balance. We're not going to be taxing your pot, stuff like that. There's going to be a subtle chest shop tax that will already be built into your price. And what that's going to do is that's going to help us pay for these wages for our government employees, the $7 UBI, and stuff like that.
All right. Now, all right. We'll now move on to the second topic of the debate. The centrists have cast itself as a party which is diametrically opposed to corruption and determined to uphold transparency. With the centrists holding near unanimous control of government, how do you intend to ensure that complacency doesn't allow corruption to seep into positions of power?
Who is that directed at?
Oh, I apologize. That's for Mr. Speaker.
I intend to have. I don't intend there to be corruption in the government. I plan. I don't really think we're gonna have a problem with corruption, so I don't really have a plan for it.
All right. Is that would you
I
like
just
to?
don't really see it being, at least not this early in a government. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I forfeit the rest of my term.
All right. Sumo, your rebuttal
I don't necessarily have a rebuttal, but I do want
or
to answer the question.
response?
Yeah, so our plan is me and Vice President Pac-Man are already, because you also said complacency in the government. So me and Vice President Pac-Man have been working on the bill over the last week to instill activity playtimes. And currently the server is working on an active playtime plugin. So once that plugin has been integrated into the server, we're going to have an active playtime. So you have to have a certain amount of playtime to run for office, and you have to maintain a certain amount of playtime in order to keep that office. Recently, the House removed 2 people from office who are inactive, and that's just a step in the right direction. I plan on my administration, if elected again, to continue that, to build on that, because if we don't have active and proactive members of our legislature and executive branches, then our government is going to fall into stagnation, and then that's just going to hurt the people. So our plan is to instill these playtime requirements and these activity requirements. And then I yield
Alright.
back.
That's your time, Mr. President. Well, you kind of have already touched on this, but I want to ask you, Mr. President, do you have any specific legislative goals in mind to help ensure transparency in the government or ways
Abs-
to root out corruption?
Absolutely. Well, one thing we have in the works right now is the Government Accountability Act. It's going to be So what the Government Accountability Act is, if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. And this is a way for the citizens to not necessarily remove people from office, but to hold their representatives accountable. We also have these, like I said, the Playtime Requirement Act, which will ensure that not only we're electing active people, they're staying active through their term. I want to make sure that productivity is something that I emphasize huge during my term. So I will be working with the House and the Senate in order to put meaningful bills on the floor, get meaningful feedback that will only help the people rather than hurt them.
Alright. Bezer, your response?
I don't really have a response, to be honest.
Would
It's
you
a good
like me
idea.
to repeat the question for your
Yeah,
specific?
yeah.
Alright. I would like to ask you, do you have any specific legislative goals in mind to help ensure transparency in the government or ways to root out corruption?
Well, if elected, I'd probably pass a bill where you have to, be transparent as well. But seeing as that's probably already going to be passed, then that's not going to happen. So is this just is this just legislator on transparency then?
This is just your legislative goals.
Oh, so in general?
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
but it's for transparency or to root out corruption. That's two of the main pillars of the Centrist Party.
Didn't we already answer this question?
Yeah, you kind
Yeah,
of
that's what you
just repeated
yeah.
the question.
Yeah, I was asking it to the speaker as well. Anyways,
Oh, well, I
it's on
thought
to
we
our
were
next
asking about
question. It's on
corruption.
to our next question. Thank you both again. We'll move on to our final topic. The health of the server is, of course, not directly in control of government. However, there are certain things that can be done to improve it. The question goes to President Sumo first. What events, projects, or other government related actions would you take as president to increase player engagement?
Absolutely. Well, right now, speaking on healthcare, I've been working with the health secretary in order to come up with a government program to afford uh, to give people access to affordable medicines. So whenever you break your leg, you can go get a leg splint, and you're not spending an arm and your other leg for a splint, and making bandage visits and vaccines more affordable for all these different diseases that are out there, unfortunately. Um, One of the main things to do to promote health is, just make sure everybody's, staying hydrated, eating the right things, not eating rotten flesh, stuff like that. Just taking these preventative actions in order to maximize our chances of staying healthy.
All right. Mr. Speaker, do you have any ideas for how you can improve the health of the server through events, projects, or any other government related actions?
Yeah, I think right now we don't have enough events. So I would have the Department of Affairs or whatever it's called, um, host more events for the server. I think that would help the server.
All right. Do you have any? All right, we'll move on to our next question. As often is the case in nations like ours, some wonder whether new citizen retention programs need to be made. Mr. Speaker, should we adopt a program which gives financial or any other kind of incentive to new citizens of Andorn?
Yeah, I think we should make some. I think we should have a program to, incentivize new players. Because if we're not incentivizing new players, then we're going to lose new players, and by losing new players, we're losing citizens. And then, we're not going to have a server. So I think we need to give them more financial help and stuff. Example, like grants and stuff like that. I forfeit the rest of my turn.
Mr. President, do you have any ideas for programs or any opinions on programs that would give financial or any other incentives to new citizens of Andorn?
So new citizens automatically get $1,000 already when they first join, and that's only going to grow the more they stay. UBI is already at $7, which comes directly out of the government balance. Um, my plan is to continue to work with the Department of Public Relations in order to finish the tutorial world that really give them a rundown of everything they can do on the server, basic commands, stuff like that, and really just let them know basically how to play. Because with our nation, the possibilities are endless, but you just got to know how to use them. And so I'm going to be working with public relations secretary a lot in my next term in order to ensure that we're keeping these new players. I also want to promote server activity because the more people they see online, the more people are going to want to stay because they're going to have this community. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to have more, obviously we're going to have more events, and we're going to have give people more incentive to stay on the server and play. And that's what's gonna keep our new players. But I think just giving out grants is reckless because we're already doing business grants, and money just doesn't come out of thin air. We have a $500,000 balance, and once that's gone, it's gone, especially if we have no plan for tax. And that's why I'm also instituting my tax plan as well. And I yield back.
All right, thank you. Mr. Speaker, would you have any response to that?
Yeah, I don't think that your tax system is really going to give the government much money if it's just a chest shop tax. That's not really going to bring any relief to the government balance
Well, under your
because
system, you're going to give no money to the government and just hand it all out. So, I mean, you got to start somewhere.
I never said I wasn't going to have taxes. I just didn't. I just said they weren't going to be that large.
Please continue.
I'd probably implement plot taxes and such.
All right. I would like to thank both candidates for participating in our debate today.
Absolutely. It was great to be here.
A reminder that any prospective candidates have till August 1st to be nominated for the Centrist Party nomination for the President of Andorn. Centrist members will be voting beginning August 8th, with their nominee set to be announced shortly after at a formal party convention. Thank you all for joining us and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Woo woo.
Woo.